Welcome back, or welcome to your first Open Wisdom Wednesday. This is Irregular Wisdom Office Hours. I ask unplanned and general and specific questions for your wisdom, and you ask me. And in the meantime, we share openly, likely from what is currently happening, to get at our wisdom. So I don't really have a huge, profound topic right off the bat that I am really urging to get at today, other than, or if this counts or not, and just this reminder we need, at least I know I need quite a bit, is of the back to basics of self kindness. Self kindness. So, how have you guys learned? What have you learned about self kindness, the challenges and the wisdom in it? I know for myself, it just makes everything a lot smoother. I mean, it doesn't erase all of our problems. It's just that it makes things easier to go through, or maybe it makes everything better. It's just like putting salt and pepper on our food, basically. If it's needed, it just brings out more flavor. But this kind of do a disservice. What is there actually to say about it? The biggest thing to say, though, is remembering to do this, bringing it to our everyday lives from a formal practice. So I know the formal practice of metta, loving kindness, has helped me quite a bit. So what I was saying is, welcome, guys. The importance of back to basics here of self kindness, and how important this is, and how I need reminders of this all the time. We have our formal metta, our loving kindness practice, and how do we bring that off the cushion into our everyday world? Well, after a certain amount of momentum and strength, I've found that it's just taking the time to remember it and hold it in awareness. As far as the loving kindness, again, so in a frustrating process like this, where sometimes I just have to iron out the kinks, it does make things go smoother for me, and it lends to more patience, having kindness towards ourselves instead of being frustrated all the time. And I know you guys, your valuable time you've chose to tune in and listen to me here. So, yeah, where's this intersection of being kind to ourselves, being kind to others, being practical, speaking up, saying things at appropriate times and in the right way with the right energy, and have all this go on autopilot? Not that it needs to be thought about or overreacted to emotionally. And I found, though, when I consciously have kindness towards my heart, my mind, my body, being, experience, then not only do I benefit from it, those around me that I interact with, they can feel it, they know it, they benefit from it as well. And yeah, and it's not selfish either, right? Because all of our hearts are connected in some way or another, be it more intimately or intensely than others. And this also includes, I feel, being okay with not being okay. It's okay to not be okay all the time either. So, when do you guys find challenges for self kindness? When do you find it really easy? I know one of the ways it's easier when we have support in a community. Of course, that's easier and it's great and lovely. We can all find kindness towards each other. Of course, the obvious ones where it's challenging, when I completely forget about it, when I haven't practiced it in a while, and get into kind of negative tailspins and don't have support, don't see the benefit or goodness of it or practicality of it. Maybe we're just around others in other situations where it's real challenging, which actually is why we need it all the more, right? So, if anyone doesn't know, the one of the formal practices for loving kindness that I use, oftentimes at the beginning of a sit, is you visualize beings. Let's just start with ourselves since I'm talking about self kindness. So you kind of visualize yourself. Easy to do with a video screen here, right? And then then some people like to bring a hand to their heart or two hands to their heart, and you can just kind of evoke a feeling of warmth or however you feel authentically kind towards yourself. And then there's phrases too. And mine happen to be something like, may I be safe inside and out. May I be happy and joyful, or may I be content. May I be healthy and strong. May I live knowing ease. And may I realize awakening and be free. So, whichever ones feel most authentic. And usually it's said to start out with someone where this is really easy. A lot of times for ourselves, it's not that easy, especially starting off. So, like small children, somewhere where there's not a really complicated emotional charge, right? Love flows easily. It could be a pet, a tree, nature, things like this. And repeating these phrases and feeling it to the most authentic way that we can and staying with it. It is kind of a concentration practice, a gathering and unifying of heart and mind. And then we can move on to ourselves. And then we can do it for what's called a neutral person, meaning where there's really no emotional charge one way or the other, positive or negative, just someone you barely know, someone you pass on the street, a store clerk, something like this. And you can repeat the phrases, you can visualize them, and you can kind of feel it in your heart. Some people do that too, and what it feels like. And then you can even go on towards a challenging person, or maybe, we're their challenging person. And then it can be done for all beings everywhere too, or groups as well. Usually it's done towards beings though. And what happens, I've noticed in my practice, especially early on with this loving kindness, this formal meta practice, is that a lot of stuff comes up that's the exact opposite. So just know if that happens, if you guys haven't practiced this, that it's completely normal or natural. The way I frame that is that it's stuff to be comes up that needs to be cleared. It needs to surface to be seen and acknowledged and witnessed, and then see what our relationship with it is, and then seeing it kind of dissolve and disappear and purify and clean out. And then this muscle is built with practice, just like anything else, and can be more and more authentic and notice the benefits in real time of kindness towards ourselves. Yeah, and another way to put this kindness is just a lack of ill will. It doesn't have to be anything fancy either, things like that. So anytime the bar is just a lack of ill will, a lack of wanting to harm in one's mind. So whenever that's absent, we actually there is a sense of kindness there. Another way to put it is this unstoppable friendliness. I like this notion of friendliness and in goodwill, generating goodwill. And this is a notion, yeah, that this notion that uh, hatred can never become overcome with hatred. Only by non-hatred can hatred be overcome, or ill will can never be overcome with ill will. Only with non-ill will can ill will be overcome. This is an ancient and eternal law. So yeah, fighting and getting back, or overcoming someone's hate with more hate. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that does not work, especially in the long run. So yes, withdrawing boundaries, and then we can send kindness from afar, especially to ourselves. For especially the challenging people, and it's an energetic thing as well. I feel so. Just these, yeah. So there's different degrees of how people experience this remotely and energetically, but when we get our mind in the right place too, it can kind of color and flavor our entire experience as well, um, uplift the mood. Well, I have a guest here that's going to join me. I was going to share some of these insights I have, but those will probably be shared on social media. So, or for another time. So, I'm going to take this guest, and they should be able to hear them here too. It's only for 10 minutes, so it's going to go a little bit longer here, other than my 15 minutes. So, you guys are welcome, of course, to leave whenever you'd like. So, truly, Julie, how's it going today?
It's going well. I was going to ask you,
Hmm.
first of all, how would we be able to join you on your social media? What is your link there? What's your name? And what social media do you use?
Oh yeah, well, it's interesting. I'm treading into bad territory here because I'm also on Insight Timer, and they don't allow any promotion of anything social media.
Okay.
So yes, go to the profile here, or actually, you can find all that via my website. And my website is linked on my Insight Timer profile. So if you go to insighttimer.com/integrating presence.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. That's
Okay,
lovely. Yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Okay, sure,
So I can press on that and find you,
sure,
which is
yeah. Anyone can.
awesome.
Well,
That's
thanks.
great. That's good. Thank you for that because,
Cool.
we want to share you in all sorts of places. We don't want to have to just go to one place. We could
I
meet
know.
in many places: a coffee bar, the casino, the swimming pool, the
Eh,
beach.
I don't know about the casino; those days are done. But
Yeah, I agree.
no, I know I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's this notion of now. I will say, in Insight Timer's defense, there I do like it in the sense that it's kind of a refuge, and people aren't promoting products there. So they're
Yeah.
not giving advertisements and things. There's plenty of
That's
platforms to
great.
do that. So they're
Yeah.
on. So it is a place where people can go and just get, the instruction and content of
That they
things that are
require.
beneficial and not
Yeah.
have to be pressured into buying something or anything like
I
that. So I
like
do
that.
like that. But then on the other hand, people have to pay bills and eat too. So there is a
Correct.
donation model. So let me ask you. Truly, Julie, what is this kindness talk? What has that brought up in you, and how do you view kindness? What do you would you consider maybe a success or challenge, or any questions? What do you want to say about it?
I think that for me, in my lifetime, looking kind of back into how I felt, because kindness for me is a feeling
Mm,
and it's an open feeling. It's got no parameters, it has no barriers. It's just an open feeling that you live within this space, and within the space that you're living oozes this kind of lovely kindness and peace towards everything, everyone, you know? And you're right, when you live in that space and you kind of recognize it in yourself, it's like a softness. And throughout my lifetime, I've had to kind of hold that in, really, that
mm,
softness,
mm.
because I've been told or nurtured to believe that softness is a weakness.
Yeah,
Softness, kindness is a weakness. So
yeah,
I couldn't show it because people would then take advantage or see me as a utensil for use of. And that really kept my kindness in for a very, very long time until I realised that actually the only thing that really matters in this lifetime that I've been given is the experience that I gain. So if I'm putting out anger and I'm putting out resentment, jealousy, I've done all of these things, believe me, I have.
hmm
It changes what is actually occurring in my world, what I'm experiencing.
indeed.
So when I put kindness out there, it kind of makes my experience for me pleasant. It just makes it easier. It makes it simpler because I don't have to think about all of these other kind of barriers and protections that I have to place on myself just to live in my experience. So this kindness just exists. It's deep, it comes from deep within somewhere of this kind of understanding that I am a human being having an experience along with other human beings having an experience. And when I kind of put out that openness and kindness, it, number one, shows that it actually does exist because I'm sharing it, which makes it an option for others then to practice on their own accord if they want to. And it also dissipates things, like you said.
Yeah.
If you go, one of my favourite things to do is, if I go into kind of some kind of confrontation, I'm not keen. I don't like confrontation very much. I find it very wearing. But if I place in there this sentence, if I'm near a kettle, I say, oh, right, should I have a cup of tea? It just puts a pause in front of any action or words that come after that. And that pause is the kindness. It's the break, it's the peace, it's the stop before you action, it's the, look at what's the reality of this, not the feeling of this. It just gives a moment, and it's like a stop break in anger. It's a stop break for frustration. It's like, right, let's just stop for a moment and just be. And that being is like a pause, and that is a kind thing to do. It's a good thing to do for you and other people. And it just examples it. It shows that it exists and it's a choice that you can make. And it's
This,
really helped me.
the sacred pause. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Julie, you bring up so many great points here. From the one of the things that you said early on was this notion that it's a boundless state, and that's the other thing I forgot to mention. These are also known as the four immeasurables,
Yeah.
or loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity. And yeah, this I think Kurt Vonnegut said too that there's only one rule in life, and it's kindness. And yeah, the social pressure and the way it's been portrayed in society is that kindness is a weakness, which is it's exactly the opposite. It's a strength because it
Yeah.
actually can act as a protective mechanism. When people know that we are kind, and especially loving kindness, and that's this extra flavor. And I'm not talking about the distorted niceness, this fake niceness where somebody's actually arrogant and putting on this condescending veneer of niceness. I'm not talking about that. Niceness, it can be authentic niceness. It can be like icing on the cake of kindness, but that's another thing. But this notion of kindness, what beings know that we're kind and we have their best interest at heart, or mean no harm, and this goes along with non-harming, then we offer them a relief, a sense of safety, that they don't have to protect themselves or defend themselves or anything that, because they know they're going to be safe around us, right? And
Yeah.
this is how our heart expands. There is a sense of vulnerability, and we don't have to be kind all the time, right? There's times when it's just too much and we can't really do it. And then the notion of this, it brings up things in me too, like authenticity, right? The authenticity of the kindness is really helpful. Instead of forcing ourselves to do it, being compelled to do it, no, we should do it, but don't actually feel that way at the time. So that's when I think, and then towards ourselves too, kindness towards ourselves, even if we have to keep it in, then we're at least being kind to ourselves. So
Yeah. I agree. It doesn't, necessarily involve compulsion.
yes,
You don't have to feel compulsion to be
yes,
kind.
that's
It's
right.
just something that occurs in that immeasurable way that you described.
Mm.
And it's a really wonderful tool to have.
It
It's
really
a
is.
really, really wonderful tool to
It is. It's our
play
true
with.
nature too,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
mean, once the things that are blocking it are out of the way and we really see the value, and we can even work on it too. But, after the blockages are out of the way, it's more of our natural state, I feel.
yeah, I'd agree. Thank you,
Hmm.
Josh, for having me up. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Well,
And I'll,
it's been so cool that you chimed in here and joined. So, been an honor and a pleasure as well.
I'll speak to you again soon, hopefully. Take care.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yay!
Bye, Julie.
Bye.
All right, you all. Thank you for joining in, and I hope you got something out of this, even though the audio was a little wonky at first, me trying to do too many things at once. All right. May you all find the highest happiness, or most content and ideal loving kindness towards yourself and all beings everywhere. May all beings everywhere experience kindness, contentment, and well being. Bye now.